Ever thought about why you or your band sounds better or worse on your ears? It all comes down to how you hear the music. Welcome to Mix and Pixels. I'm E, and today I'm addressing a game changer for a musician's in-ear mix: mono versus stereo. By the end of this video, you'll be able to understand the concepts of mono, stereo, and panning, and how they can transform your performance, protect your hearing, and overall take your in-ear mix to the next level. Here at Mix and Pixels, we strongly believe in the idea of using in-ear monitors if you're playing in a band, not only because you'll be able to hear yourself better, which will translate into a better performance, but also because you need to protect your hearing. If you do not protect it, you start losing it. And once it's gone, it's gone. Now, going back to our three concepts: mono, stereo, and panning. I want you to think of what I will call your listening area. Imagine there's a line coming from your left ear all the way to your right ear, creating a semicircle. I will call that your listening area. I know we can hear things from the back as well, but for the sake of this video and to be able to understand these concepts, humor me with this image. So we have our listening area, and sounds can come from any place in that listening area. From the very left, from the very right, from both, or from anywhere in between. With me so far? Great. Now let's see how this translates into a mono in-ear mix. Every sound coming to your in-ears is focused in the center of your listening area, right in front of you, in your forehead, if you will. Any sound in the center of your listening area gets duplicated, and it sounds with the same volume in your left ear as in your right ear. If I clap my hands, you can hear with the same volume in your left ear and in your right ear. In a mono in-ear mix, all the instruments, drums, vocals, bass, guitars, etc., they're all dead center. So they're the same in the left ear and in the right ear. You cannot send sounds only to the left ear or only to the right ear. They're all in the center, so all in both. And in a mono in-ear mix, you use only one cable to connect your wired or wireless in-ear system. Now, let's talk about how a stereo in-ear mix works using this same illustration. You can decide to put sounds in the center of your listening area, on the left, on the right, or anywhere in between. You're not bound to have everything in the center. You can position things in your mix the same way you see them on stage. If you're a singer and you have your guitar player to the left and your keyboard player to your right, you can do the same thing on your mix. Send the guitar to your left ear and send the keys to your right ear. If you're a drummer or actually any musician in the band, you can place the sounds of the drums exactly as you see them. So kick and snare right in the center, rag tom slightly to the left, floor tom slightly to the right. A stereo mix gives you a fuller sound because you're filling all of your listening area instead of just the center. Stereo mix does not make your ears as tired as a mono mix does, where all the sounds are in the center and cannot be moved. You need two cables to connect a stereo in-ear monitor system, one for the left, one for the right. I mentioned the concept of panning at the beginning of this video. Panning is only possible in a stereo mix. Panning is the term used to place sounds or position sounds to the left, to the right, or anywhere in between. For example, you can pan an acoustic guitar to your left, an electric guitar to your right. That way, you will be using a stereo mix's full functionality. When you hear the term hard pan left, what that means is all the sounds are placed all the way to the left. A hard pan right means all the sounds are placed all the way to the right. Some final thoughts to keep in mind. The world is stereo. It's not mono. We have two ears, and unless we cover one, sounds come to both ears. Every sound, all the time. All the music you listen to on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, etc., they come in stereo mode. Even you have an earphone for your left and one for your right. The world is stereo. Stereo in-ear mix means you need to have a system capable of handling it. Used to be very expensive, but nowadays with the eruption of wire systems, having a stereo mix has become affordable. As a live sound engineer, I know there's a lot more work involved in setting up stereo mixes for a band. It requires two cables, and most of the time, you don't really have the time to get a mix and to pan instruments cater to every member of the band. Also, you have a limited amount of outputs on your sound desk, which determines how many stereo mixes you can have for a band, keeping in mind that you need 2 outputs for each stereo in-ear mix. So if you have 10 available outputs for a 10-piece band, you won't be able to give them stereo mixes, but mono. And lastly, as a musician, I know that getting to a gig and trying to convince the sound engineer to give you a stereo mix can be quite the challenge. In most cases, they will give you a mono mix. But if it is up to you and you can talk to the sound engineer and you can find a way to have a stereo mix, please do it. And as a sound engineer, please keep in mind that while having stereo mixes can be more work, it is also an enhanced experience for them to perform better. So there you have it. Mono, center sounds, same sounds on the left than on the right. Stereo, sounds can be placed anywhere in your listening area. Panning is the action of placing sounds anywhere in your listening area. What do you think? Do you prefer mono or stereo mixes? What are some of your own experiences using in-ears? Let us know in the comments, and remember, great sound is always within your reach.